Am I the asshole for calling my brother a hypocrite for refusing to come to my wedding because it's child-free? I, 27 female, am due to get married to my partner, a 28 male, this summer. The situation is that my brother Josh, age 32, is refusing to come to the wedding, and I think he is being unreasonable and childish. Our wedding is going to be child-free, with no kids under the age of 13-ish. The youngest guests will be around 12-13 years old at the time of the wedding. My partner and I don't hate children, and we had multiple reasons for having our wedding this way. Me personally, I think that weddings are mostly boring, unenjoyable experiences from the point of view of small children, so it's hardly surprising that they will act up. Josh has 2 kids, aged 5, twins, and he has made many comments that we are selfish for having a child-free wedding, and that if we aren't inviting his kids, he is not going. I can understand his perspective, but I think he's not making any effort to understand ours. When Josh got married 7 years ago, he and his wife also had a child-free wedding. Last weekend, we attended a family party, it was someone's birthday, and some family members brought up the topic of my upcoming wedding. Josh scoffed the whole time, and made a comment that he wouldn't know about it because he's excluded. His comments caused short, awkward silences, but no one responded to them. Last weekend, we attended a family party, it was someone's birthday, and some family members brought up the topic of my upcoming wedding. Josh scoffed the whole time, and made a comment that he wouldn't know about it because he's excluded. His comments caused short, awkward silences, but no one responded to them. Later, when I was talking to Josh alone, I told him he's still invited to the wedding, and he and his wife can go, or not. Those are his options, and him making snide comments aren't going to change the plans. He said that I'm alienating his children, and that they will be very sad about this when they're older, and that they would love to be flower girls. I called him a hypocrite and told him to grow the hell up, and that was the end of the conversation. Our parents are now getting involved, and my dad told me that he and my stepmom will not be at the wedding if Josh isn't. I'm not close with him for unrelated reasons, and our relationship is rocky at best, so I just told him that's up to him. My mom is asking me to just make an exception for Josh's kids. She said that I'm acting like a narcissist, and that we all have to make compromises sometimes. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for telling my sister-in-law that her family can't stay at my beach house anymore, even though they helped build it? I'm 31, and my husband is 38. We live about 3 hours away from my sister-in-law's family. Her husband, 2 kids. A few years ago, my husband and I bought a really run-down property on the coast, a couple of hours from where we live. I wanted to make a project of fixing it up. My husband liked the idea and was happy to support it, but it was mostly my project. I really put a lot of effort into fixing it as cheaply as possible, went over and stayed there for many nights, and literally did a lot of the construction. My husband came and helped about half the time. I sourced recycled wood and such, so almost all the materials are found in some way. Once it was partially finished, I thought I could enlist my sister-in-law's help, so I told her about this project and asked if she wanted to come stay over for a few days with her family and help finish up the work. She brought her kids and husband and slept out on the deck and did things like the painting and building some furniture, etc. When it was finished, it was really beautiful. We started renting it out on Airbnb and have had good success with that so far. I did say that my sister-in-law's family could come stay anytime because they helped with it. There are 2 parts to the house that have separate kitchens and bathrooms, so we've kept the top for us and my sister-in-law's family, and the bottom for Airbnb. Last week, they were there at the same time as some paid guests. I got a complaint from the guests afterward that my sister-in-law kids had made fun of their kids, and that my sister-in-law told them that this was their house, so the guests don't get to dictate how their kids behave. I asked my sister-in-law about this, and she said their kids wanted to play with the guests' kids on the beach, and the guests' kids tried to ask her kids to leave them alone, but they wouldn't. They were playing volleyball, and her kids were much better, and rightfully proud of it. I got pissed, and I told her she wasn't allowed to stay there anymore if she can't be considerate of the fact that this is also a business, and you can't be an ass to customers, or anyone. Now, she says I'm an asshole because I promised she could stay any time. Am I the asshole for arguing with my potential future mother-in-law after she said she would be sad if I marry her son? I am a 25 female, and he is a 27 male. We have been dating for 6 years, and are thinking about marriage in 2 to 3 years. My partner is very family-oriented, which is one of the traits that I fell in love with. However, he is also a mama's boy. He believes that since his parents raised him, he should pay them back by respecting them. However, his way of respecting them is by obeying everything that they say and want. His parents and I have crossed paths over the years, and on most of these occasions, his parents have made offhanded comments about my physical appearance, my career, and how I have changed their son. When something goes wrong in their son's life, they are quick to blame me as the reason for his downfall, even if I had no involvement in that aspect of his life. Since my partner and I are seriously thinking about marriage, We have been meeting up with his parents, and my parents more often. During one of the dinners with his parents, my potential future mother-in-law said she would be sad if I marry her son, because she does not think her and I have a close relationship. I was in shock by her statement and did not respond back. After that moment of silence, she continued to ask me if I agreed that we did not have the best relationship. I think at this point, the initial shock was disappearing, and I started to feel hurt by her words. In response to her question, I said that I don't think we have a close relationship because I often feel attacked by her. I then continued to list a few prime examples. As we discussed these examples, the conversation became more heated and turned into a full-blown argument. The last thing I remember saying to her was that if my partner and I ever broke up, it will be all her fault.
Am I the asshole for flipping out on my fiancé after her daughter almost got me arrested? I, 38 male, got engaged to my fiancé, 37 female, about 3 months ago. We've been dating for almost 3 years. She has 2 kids from a previous relationship, 15 female and 12 male. Their dad is involved in their lives, and for the most part, the adults all co-parent and communicate well. I get along really well with the 12-year-old, but I have always struggled to build a relationship with my soon-to-be stepdaughter, Riley. She has made it very clear to me, my fiancé, and her biological dad, that she doesn't view me as a parent and doesn't want me to try and be a father to her because she already has one. A few days ago, my fiancé sent me a text asking me if I could pick up Riley from school because she had something come up at work that was going to keep her late. My fiancé usually picks up Riley once a week and brings her to a chiropractic appointment to help with a sports injury Riley got. She told me she would call the school to let them know that I would be picking Riley up because I wasn't on the approved pickup list yet. However, when I got to Riley's school, it quickly became apparent that my fiancé forgot to call the school. The school has locked doors that require you to have a code or be buzzed in by the office. I buzzed into the office to let them know I was there to pick up Riley and that my fiancé should have called to let them know. They didn't know anything about it. I was left waiting outside for 5-10 minutes while they figured it out. I tried calling and texting my fiancé, but she didn't answer. Then, the school resource officer, an actual uniformed cop, came out and told me that I would have to leave, and that if I refused, then he would arrest me for trespassing. I tried talking with him, but he just kept saying I was not authorized to be on school property and that I had to leave. I had no choice but to leave without Riley. Finally, an hour later, my fiancé called me back. I explained what happened, and she apologized for forgetting to call the school because she got distracted with work. She told me she would figure it out and meet me at home. When she and Riley got home, Riley went straight to her room. My fiancé sat me down and told me that Riley had lied to the office and told them that she didn't know who I was and had never seen me before. She thought it would be funny. She told me she explained to Riley how dangerous that was and was going to work with Riley's dad to figure out a punishment. Needless to say, I did not take that news well. I admit I did raise my voice to her. I didn't yell, but I did get louder than I usually talk. She told me to calm down, and I told her that I won't calm down because her daughter almost got me arrested because she thought it would be funny. I told her that she's just as responsible for this as Riley is because she didn't call the school, and it put me in a position where I looked like a creep or predator. My fiancé thinks I'm overreacting and that I need to let her and Riley's dad handle this.
Am I the asshole for telling my husband to stop spending so much money on his dead girlfriend's younger sister? I, 28 female, have been with my husband, 34 male, for almost a decade. We have 3 children, 6 female, 3 male, 2 female, together, and we are currently expecting our 4th child. He is an amazing father to our kids, and I couldn't ask for a better husband. He also has a very close friendship with his late girlfriend's younger sister, Clara, 20 female. 17 years ago, my husband's girlfriend, who is also his childhood best friend, passed away at only 15 years old in an accident that my husband survived. My husband has known Clara since she was a baby, and he treats her like his own little sister. Her family had a lot of financial problems, while my husband has a very high-earning career. He says he felt guilty letting her struggle while he has all this money he doesn't use. Clara's home life was very dysfunctional, especially after her mom went to prison, and she views my husband as a kind of father figure. He always attended her dance recitals, school plays, and sports events. He brings her along on our family vacations. She visits our place at least once a week, often staying overnight, and our guest bedroom has pretty much become her bedroom now. He spent a lot of money on her. Any gift she wanted, he would buy for her, no matter how much it cost, like electronics, jewelry, and designer clothes. He bought her a car for her 16th birthday, even when she hadn't gotten her license yet. He paid for her to have custom-made dresses for both of her proms. He was extremely supportive of Clara during her pregnancy, paying for her daughter's 3 female expenses, and helping Clara look after her. He paid for all her college tuition, school supplies, as well as her living costs. Recently, Clara got engaged, and my husband told me he wanted to help pay for the wedding wedding and buy her own house as a wedding present. I said this was getting out of hand. I understand that he feels guilty over surviving the accident that killed his girlfriend, but we've got a lot of expenses coming up with the new baby. He says he sees Clara as part of our family, and he can afford to take care of her as well as our kids. I said that it was sweet how much he cared about her, but he shouldn't be prioritizing Clara's needs over his actual family. He says that he's not taking care of her out of obligation or guilt, but because he's developed a genuine bond with her, and there's no reason he shouldn't use his own wealth to help her out. Am I the asshole?